Is it all working? Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Game Center Live. This is our weekly talk show where we talk about various news and events. We also maybe hide the image slideshow for now. We also just talk about. Oh, there's a lot of glare outside too. A lot of students outside. We also host special guests. We also try to meet up with students. And today we're also going to try an experiment. We're just going to play some video games sometimes during this show too. So today will be the debut of a new segment called I'm Walking Here. And I'm Walking Here will be about complaining about games set in New York City. It should be a fun time for everyone involved. So first off, let's start off with some morning announcements. Julia? Cool. So just daily reminder, Playtest Thursday is going on tonight again, 5:30 to 7 p.m. 370 J Street, 6th floor, Brooklyn, on the lounge. It's open to students and the public. Please come and eat pizza and playtest your games. Next. Then just a reminder about Code Help Desk as well. Code Help Desk is expanded. You can get drop-in help with GameMaker GML or Unity C# stuff. That's every weekday, Monday to Friday, 1 to 5 p.m. We also run help desks about writing, 2D art, 3D art, audio, a lot of stuff. We could use the audio help desk too, right, Julia? So make sure you make use of these help desk resources. Let's go. Wait, where's the next image? Wait, none of the next images are showing up. Okay, well, I'll just keep announcing stuff. So right now, the NYU Tisch Office of Career Development is running a special career help desk. Literally right now, literally as I'm talking to you right now, there is someone from Tisch here to help NYU students figure out their resumes and portfolios and stuff. It's just right outside. You can't see where I'm pointing, but I'm pointing over towards the desk where you should all go to. It's near the 6th floor reception lobby. Please go get your resumes and CVs and portfolios checked out and get those jobs and earn that bread. Some events we have going on today. We have or not going on today, but in the next few weeks, we have a book launch. We are launching a book by Jesper Juul, who is a very famous, important scholar in game studies. And this book is called Handmade Pixels, published by the MIT Press. This will be on October 10th at 7 p.m. So that's next Thursday, I believe. Please RSVP and you can come over and chat with the author as well as maybe even like get your book signed and stuff. We also have another big event happening the week after. That is the NYU Game Center lecture series, the next one in our lecture series. We will be presenting and hosting Bonnie or Bo Ruberg, they them pronouns. And they will be talking about their book, Video Games Have Always Been Queer, by the NYU Press. And that'll be on October 17th at 7 p.m. So that'll be the week after. So these should be two big, great talks about two really important, interesting books that are talking about games and game culture. Next up on our announcements, students, make sure you sign up for the Sloan Grants. We have the Sloan Grant is like this big fancy foundation that like has all this money, and they really want you to make science stuff and promote science stuff. So grants for up to $20,000 are available for Game Center students. For any game that's promoting a greater understanding of science, tech, or economics. Is economics a science? I guess it is now. It's maybe the most, I think economics is famously the most dismal science. There's some quote about that. Deadline to apply for that Sloan Grant, for that $20,000 to a student, is October 21st. If you want more information or help with applying to that grant, please talk to Matt Parker or Dylan McKenzie for info on that. And please go get that money. More announcements. We have Indiecade coming up October 10th to the 12th. Indiecade is a really fun festival that happens in Los Angeles. And it's where a bunch of indie games and academics and educators and industry people all get together and hang out and have a good time. And NYU Game Center will be having a booth there as usual. So if you are anywhere at Indiecade, please come by and visit us. Visit our booth. It should be fun, I think. We'll have a bunch of games. We'll be showing a lot of student games there. More events. This is another announcement from the past few weeks. As another reminder, Queerness in Games Conference, or QGCon, is happening at Concordia University in May. Concordia University is up in Montreal. It's a very short flight up there, or like a 10-hour drive up there from New York. They are looking for talk and workshop submissions. So if you identify as LGBTQ or you identify as an ally who's like studying or research or working with any of these communities, please submit some kind of talk or workshop by October 15th. For more information, visit qgcon.com. Oh, and as a reminder to that, as an addition to that, NYU will reimburse, or not will, can reimburse some travel and hotel costs for students presenting at conferences. So if you are a Game Center student and you get your submission accepted at QGCon or Indiecade or anywhere else, you can apply for money up to $1,000, I believe, from the NYU Student Government's Conference Fund. So search for NYU Student Government Conference Fund for up to $1,000 in reimbursements. So that's meant to encourage you to submit to conferences and help defray the cost of doing all that and like paying for all your airfare and stuff. So if you're a student, please take advantage of that resource. And as a last reminder, please visit our website at gamecenter.nyu.edu to learn more about our academic programs, or to see student work, or to see our very full event calendar that we have going on. Okay, that's it for morning announcements. Let's bring on the news. As usual, we always like doing a little bit of a industry news roundup, and today we will be featuring our usual co-host, Naomi Clark.
Hi.
Naomi, you need your mic.
I need my mic. Let's do it.
We just got these fancy, cool new mics. I'm gonna stall for time while Naomi gets set up. Is the mic on?
Where's the switch?
Yeah, it's on. Cool. We got these new mics that are like fancy wireless lavalier things. Oh God, that's so blurry. So now we can speak without having to share a microphone, and it's super cool. And now we're like
and
fancy.
I'll look like I'm an airline pilot or maybe a pro esports player.
You can be anything you want to be, Naomi. I believe in you.
Thank you.
All right, let's cut to our game feed then and look at some of the news that we're going to be talking about today.
Oh, Goose Game.
So, Naomi, tell us about this.
Yeah, so this is one I would bet probably a lot of people watching have heard about. This game, Untitled Goose Game is the name of this game, or the lack of a name of this game. And yeah, I think it's like the BBC is saying, it sort of topped some charts on the Switch. I think it's the best-selling online downloadable game on the Switch, and it was a little bit of a surprise. Not so much in the crowd that usually plays small indie games like this, but because back when this game was announced and screenshots of it first started showing up, a lot of people were really excited about it. I think that was part of its success, was that it got a lot of buzz on indie games communities and like games Twitter. But then once it launched, it just continued to spread and snowball and got really, really popular. I think, there were some like celebrities talking about it. I think, who was it, like Chrissy Teigen or someone played it. And then it really just started to pick up a lot of steam. So it's like the indie breakout hit. And then, of course, there's some people being like, oh, why is this game so popular? It's just such an innocuous, cutesy game. But I've been seeing a lot of news stories about it. Apparently, Goose Attacks are actually up 2,000%, according to Kotaku or somebody.
God.
But really all that means is that people are noticing goose attacks a lot more now that they've played this game about a horrible goose. So in case it's not clear from the screenshots, in the game you play a goose and you're going around and basically bothering and torturing villagers of I would call this a fantastic or like a fantasy depiction of idyllic small town England, the England that England likes to dream that it is, rather than actual England. It was made by Australian developers who are sort of familiar with this like bullshit version of England, since it's sort of like culturally on top of their heads for centuries.
Yeah, there's some wild stuff. I was playing it the other day, and there's like stuff like there's like a model village, and that's like.
Don't give away the spoilers.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're playing in a little.
I don't know what a model village is. I didn't spoil anything for you.
It takes place in a picturesque, almost miniature village to begin with, and then within the miniature village, there's another even more miniature village. But yeah, we won't spoil it.
I spoiled that. I'm sorry. But if you're American, you don't even know what I'm talking about, so it's fine. It's okay. Right?
I guess so, yeah. And there's I think this boy who was in the screenshot, he's like the most hapless victim of the goose. It's like, you're doing horrible. He's like falling down, losing his glasses, getting trapped in a phone booth.
Children are often the most helpless when it comes to goose attacks.
Yeah, for sure. Right? I mean, I think in reality, what goose attacks can be dangerous. I'm sure that they carry rabies. I don't know. Maybe I'm slandering geese right now.
Watch out, the geese lobby is going to come after you.
But it's kind of cool, right? This is not the kind of game we usually expect to hear about as suddenly being a breakout hit. People are pointing out, it's such a non-violent game. Although, is it really? I don't know. And it is kind of adapting the stealth genre slightly, right? Yeah,
it's like Hitman, or it's like an immersive sim kind of game almost.
Right. Well, there's life going on in the village, and really I would probably call it a type of puzzle game. But puzzle adventure a little bit, but mostly you're trying to sort of stealth around, distract people, sneak around, steal stuff. And there are a lot of cool little cute extra challenges and things that you can do. Yeah, so good job, small independent Australian game developers who are now making a lot of money because people think games where you play a horrible animal are good. And I think this should become a new genre, so I encourage everybody, please make a game about a horrible squirrel, horrible narwhal or dolphins. Dolphins are really actually horrible.
Dolphins are jerks.
Yeah,
right?
They're total jerks. I think they're rapists often too.
Oh my god.
Yeah, or maybe that might be a horrible slander too, but it's one that maybe I got propagandized against dolphins.
So moving on from animal concerns. We have this story from Fox News about how McDonald's register was hacked to run Doom on it. So let's see if does this video.
Is it a video?
Play? I don't know.
Yeah,
can I play videos?
These are the only types of stories that I ever see from Fox News for some reason.
I think I'm ad blocking this.
That's
so
okay.
I can't...
So yeah, there's a tweet. This is the real thing.
Here's
so
the real thing.
This guy managed to figure out how to hack into a McDonald's cash register touchscreen system, and these are sort of point of purchase systems often that just have PC hardware in them. Because what else are you going to run it off of? So you can in fact hack it. The thing I find interesting about this is that there's this sort of sci-fi fantasy of you can hack into all the screens and then suddenly they're all showing something that you decided to put there. But in a movie or a game, that's usually a an ominous figure in a creepy mask is like making an announcement or something, right? Or even that's what the good people would use it for. They'd be like, citizens of Necrotopia, I have an announcement to make. The evil people are evil. But that's not what happens in real life. Because why would you do that in real life? Is there any kind of video clip or message that you would really actually want to have on loop on a McDonald's cash register? In reality, what happens is people make a game run on it, which is sort of inherently stands for, this is not supposed to be happening. Who did this? It's a prank. This is non-productive bullshit. So thank you, Doom, for representing that in our culture. I guess this is a thing that people try to get Doom to run on weird machines. And why not? I don't know. What do you think? You're actually maybe a little bit more.
I go to McDonald's more than you, probably.
Possibly you go to McDonald's more. You're more familiar with the aesthetics and cultural legacy of Doom and its effect on future generations of FPS games than me.
Oh yeah, I have to give the FPS lecture, I think, next week, actually.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So I won't spoil that for the viewers watching at home, but
what do you think about the idea of like FPS is suddenly showing up in McDonald's?
I think it's so retro. It's like Mario, basically, right?
Right.
It's the equivalent gesture playing Mario on this cash register, I think.
Right, but not quite as iconic or like brand recognition as Mario.
It's American. It's very
well,
like apple pie.
It's of a certain era. People of a certain age are like, oh, Doom.
It's elder millennial American apple pie.
Right. Doom was the big FPS when I got to college. People were playing on LANs in college dorm hallways.
Yeah, it actually crashed university networks.
Oh yeah, I know. I was definitely part of that era.
Naomi.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's because of you. We can't have all these nice things now. It's why NYU's fireballing us. Okay, let's move on to this next story.
This is just terrible.
Oh, geez. Okay, intro.
I don't know that much about TwitchCon, although we're on Twitch right now. But apparently TwitchCon was awful. And this was not an official party, but I guess there was a party at which at least a couple attendees, at least one person, although I heard more than one person, got drugged, roofied, a barbiturate of some sort of sedative put in their drink. I have had this happen to friends of mine, and it's incredibly awful, not just because of the danger that someone could drag you off and rape you, but because it just makes you sick for days. Also, even if a friend of yours does manage to drag you away. So then this particular streamer actually ended up in the hospital, and with drug tests showing like benzodiazepine, antidepressant in her system, so she could have been killed. So this is no joke. The reason I think it's important to talk about is just to be aware. Yeah, there are complete assholes, criminals running around in games communities trying to take advantage of people in situations, parties where they think they can get away with this kind of behavior, with drugging people. And it's something that, who has to be responsible for this? Well, it's the organizers of social events, people making games community happen. Organizations like Twitch, although they weren't running this particular party.
Oh, he apologized.
And then this.
Wait, the story's that he apologized?
Well, I think initially his earlier tweet, you can see it sort of is on the bottom of the screen there.
Oh, okay.
That he had said something like, "Oh, why are you complaining about how Twitch is just handing out beers?"
Oh, right.
They're showing a picture of a
someone passed out.
They're showing a picture of a table that just had a ton of drinks spread out on them. Like they'd pre-poured like 24 drinks for people to just grab.
Okay.
That's really dangerous because makes it really easy for people to slip drugs into drinks. And so this Keem was like, "Oh, that's not a big deal." But then he found out that somebody actually got drugged, and he was like, "Oh, dude, my bad, man." It's like, it's a big L for me. Maybe think in advance next time. Although
think before you tweet.
I know that saying something terrible and then apologizing is practically a streamer tradition now. Like you do cycles of that, right? That's how you build your audience.
You write the apology on your iPhone and you take a screenshot of the notes app.
Right, maybe you do the apology first. You come with an apology. How should I apologize? And then you come up with a horrible thing that will fit that apology.
Just skip the bad tweet first and just go straight to the apology.
Yeah, maybe. Why not? Then, less bad crap out in the world. Anyway, let's forget this one.
Okay, let's move on to this next story about Apple Arcade. Oh, and Google Stadia.
Right, so Google Stadia is coming out next month. And this, I think, is noteworthy because this is on The Motley Fool, which is a very long-running finance website. It's just one example. There are more and more finance industry stories now about Apple Arcade and Google Stadia going up head-to-head. So people on Wall Street, the people who control all the money, basically, and who, really influence investors and stock prices for companies like Apple and Google, they're really starting to write more stories about, like, Google and Apple are about to collide with each other, and this is going to be a huge showdown of the likes of Microsoft and Apple, or Firefox and Internet Explorer, or whatever, or Chrome. And so they're spinning this, for obvious reasons to get people excited about it, but it really may end up shaping what goes on with these two services and what happens financially. Which is a big deal because both of these services are going to be kind of funded by the giant companies behind them, right? So it's sort of like Netflix pays for a huge amount of streaming film and TV content. They commission all these Netflix originals, right? It's basically what's happening with Apple Arcade, and possibly with a bunch of titles coming out on Stadia as well, that they're being bankrolled by the deep coffers of Google and Apple. And we're not going to find out for a while which of them actually makes more money. But Wall Street is paying close attention, which means that there's like a bunch of money focused on this area. So those of us actually making games, we're kind of like the small boats caught on this giant ocean. I'm starting to...
But the ocean's made of money?
It's made of money.
It's a money ocean?
It's a money ocean, but you could get dropped into a money vortex, which means you lose all your money.
Uh-oh.
If you're working on a title that gets canceled by one of these giant groups, like, right? Because the downside of a model like Netflix is that although they're funding a lot of content creators, right, that they're also running everything based on data. So everything's based on an algorithm now. And if you're the sixth episode of the second season of your show doesn't do well, then you're canceled. Or honestly, actually, they're starting to cancel shows after 2 seasons because they just have decided that's the optimal point. That has nothing to do with storytelling, just metrics. And so we might see something similar happening. Like, it'd be very easy to see Apple or Google acting that way about games and saying, like, okay, well, your game has to have these kinds of elements or features. They do that with Netflix shows now. They're like, well, you have to have this many laughs per minute, and if you have an animal character, it should be one of these species of animals, and like this is how often people should talk during your show, how long moments of silence should be, right? So all of the creative and design decisions get analyzed to death. I don't know. Will that happen with games? I think it's a little bit more difficult with games than with a TV show, just because the format is so variable. It's not linear media. But it could, I think we'll see. Obviously, people are doing that all the time at huge companies like Tencent and King and Zynga, like sort of analyzing games to death with metrics. And it doesn't always work out well. They usually reach what's called a local maximum. I'm not going to go into great detail on that. But I don't know. I'm starting to get swayed by Apple Arcade. They're sort of luring me in. I kind of like it. Now, what do you think?
Yeah, the games are fun. But I am just kind of disquieted a little bit by this prospect of, like, you make a game, you submit it to Apple Arcade. Apple is at first, yeah, okay. And then Apple, like, does its own internal testing. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. We tested this and the minimum heart rate, the median heart rate
right, that
was caused by your action game was too low. So that means we're going to cancel it, right?
Yeah, who knows? It's like, really, we won't really know. Like, there's not going to be any public announcement about how they decide games are in or out. It's going to all be like word of mouth and people subtly breaking their NDAs to find out like how exactly are games getting picked for this. And we just don't know. Right now, the slates of games for both of these platforms, it's all launch slates, right? It's like, so they're getting a lot of different kinds of games, a lot of really interesting games, doing experiments. It's 6 months or a year from now. Is the number of games smaller or bigger? Is it more varied or really less varied? Is it like only big, well-moneyed developers, or is it open to smaller developers too? We'll just have to see. Some people are very pessimistic about that. I think it's worth being cautiously optimistic just because it might be one of the last best hopes for mobile games. Mobile games have gotten kind of like sucked into a vortex of just... I don't know, the best games are like before this point were just ad-funded games that interrupted you every so often. Of course, there were a lot of much worse business models than that. And so, I don't know, to make actually games accessible to more people, to attract, like, because mobile platforms, that's probably the best platform if you want to get the most people excited about playing a game still, right?
Yeah.
simplest controls. You can play all of the Apple Arcade games like on your TV if you have an Apple TV with a.
I was trying to do that the other day. We have an Apple TV
Yeah.
because we had to use it, test our games on it.
Right. They were requiring everybody to do Apple TVs.
And the control's kind of weird.
It's not that well. So here's the weird thing. So weirdly, you can play a lot of these games with a remote, which is kind of unusual. But now they with the latest update, you can use a PlayStation or Xbox or M5 controller.
Yeah, Bluetooth.
It's just any Bluetooth controller. So I was playing like that 3D clay game, Hot Lava or something like that.
Oh,
and that's just
with a
with a PlayStation
yeah,
controller.
that would be impossible with the remote.
Yeah,
right?
no, it's impossible on the touchscreen too. You kind of have to use a controller for that game. So it's really unusual the kinds of games they have there. They're really actually trying to be combination console mobile games for as many people as possible.
They're out for blood.
Yeah, they are, but they're not going full bore into Stadia's territory, which I think is like gigantic AAA games. They're trying to make games that are more accessible for a wider audience. So I have to say, like, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how exclusive it's going to be, but right now I'm on Apple's side in this battle.
And the finance people are very interested.
Yeah, and I really don't like Apple in a lot of ways. As anybody who's followed me for a while knows, I have a lot of criticisms of them, but I have to back this idea of like making more accessible games more widely available at a low subscription price that is still hopefully bankrolling developers somehow.
Moving on to a lighter note,
Yeah.
There's an Overwatch Cookbook now. Wow.
Yeah, this is just funny. I don't have anything to say about this. I guess this person who writes these cookbooks, I forget her name, Chelsea Monroe Castle. Yeah, she's also done a WoW cookbook, an Elder Scrolls cookbook, and a Game of Thrones cookbook.
Oh, this is like a whole like market.
Yeah, it's a whole
series.
Right. Yeah, and so the Overwatch cookbook, I guess, is based on like the diverse ethnic backgrounds of each of the Overwatch characters. That's what I thought was particularly funny here.
Mm-hmm.
Like Farah has Canadian butter tarts because Farah is actually from Canada, although I think she's sometimes spun by some people as being like the Middle Eastern character.
She's
right?
like Egyptian Canadian. Do they do hyphenated stuff?
I guess I assume they do.
Okay.
The Canada, they consider themselves a tossed salad rather than a melting pot. So
right,
I think
the
they'd be
mosaic.
Right.
The tossed salad.
You get to keep your original identity. And then Arisa's Sunday.
I thought Risa was a robot.
Yeah. So there's a whole story in here, I guess, about how
the lore of
the cookbook. This is actually a Sunday that was given to robotics genius Effie Oladele on the creation of her robotic partner. So there you go. The robot's not actually eating it.
Right. Stroopwafel. I like stroopwafels.
Yes.
That sounds good.
So I don't know. Why not? That's sort of my thought about this. Why, if Overwatch fans get more interested in making baked goods and delicious treats, that's a net positive. Why not sell more cookbooks to more people?
Here's my industry take. Here's my way of spinning this silly story into an industry point. I think this just proves how Overwatch isn't really about playing Overwatch. It's about the culture of Overwatch and the fandom that surrounds it, right?
Yeah, that's, I think, is probably a very smart move if you ever want to try and break into that rankings of like top revenue generating franchises, which are mostly about selling merchandise, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, trying to become a cultural phenomenon that's bigger than the actual thing. That's how Pokemon did it, right?
You need cute characters.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on to this story. Oh,
Kickstarter.
A lot happening here.
Why? Okay, so if you don't know, Kickstarter is a crowdfunding platform, right? When it actually has built a lot of its success on crowdfunding games. Other types of technology devices and things too, but they're just, for sheer volume, there have been a lot of game projects on Kickstarter, and nowadays a ton of board game and role-playing game projects. It's maybe one of the biggest marketplaces to buy new innovative board games and role-playing games. And but they have made a horrible mistake. Their CEO, whose name is Aziz, I forget his last name, but I was going to name him and shame him in public, but he basically has put out a letter that said, look, I'm not going to say anything illegal here, but unions are terrible and divisive, which is really a very classic old anti-union propaganda line to say, look, really the company we have your best interests at heart. We're a big family. Why would you betray us and try to organize with each other?
I thought you loved me.
Yeah, like, why are you putting us over there and you over here? I thought we all could be together. And suddenly you're saying, you guys who work for us, you want to get together and bargain as a group with us? And instead of, can't we all just have individual conversations so you don't know how much each other are making? That would be better and more like a family, right? So, yeah.
Some families.
So the long story short, Kickstarter is trying to organize a union. Kickstarter United is the name of it. The Kickstarter fired a couple people, 2 or 3 people who were involved in this union. And of course, they're claiming like, oh, they were fired for reasons that have nothing to do with the union, that long predated it. But we can't tell you what they are because it would be too embarrassing for them. And so, but it has nothing to do with this union. And the people who got fired are like, actually, we got fired because we were involved in organizing this union. That would be illegal. And so Kickstarter, of course, can't admit to it. And the other remaining employees who are still involved in organizing this are now asking Kickstarter to recognize the union. Voluntarily. And then Kickstarter is basically being like, no, we don't like unions, or the CEO is, right? And management. And so there's a boycott almost imminently happening. Everyone is waiting to see if a boycott will be on, because that really has to be kind of at the call of the union. If Kickstarter doesn't voluntarily recognize the union, then there will have to be a vote, I think, to try and get the majority of the workers there to be interested in forming a union. And if that happens, then they'll have a union. At that point, the union might say, hey, Kickstarter is really treating us badly. They're not listening to they're not coming to the negotiating table with us. Then, people might start boycotting Kickstarter. And this is a big deal. There are a lot of creative people making projects on Kickstarter, a lot of people backing projects on Kickstarter who are in favor of unions, who want workers to be treated well and have a voice in their own working conditions and pay and be able to bargain as a collective unit. And who are not going to put up with this from Kickstarter. So they could end up losing millions and millions of dollars if they don't kind of clean their act up. And unfortunately, this was sort of joined by some other news from this morning from Us2 Games, the creators of Monument Valley, and now on Apple Arcade, they have a new game that's about repairing things.
Assemble with Care?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Assemble with Care. The people love their games, but they've also just fired the lead organizer of Game Workers Unite UK.
Who was the lead programmer on their Apple Arcade game, Assemble with Care, I believe.
Right, yeah, so the lead programmer. And again, it's a very similar story. They're saying, oh, we fired him for reasons that have nothing to do with this union organizing, but we can't tell you what they are because it would just violate his privacy for us to tell you. And he's saying, look, I'm pretty sure they fired me because I'm a union organizer. In fact, I have this email where they said to me like, oh, you are spending too much time on diversity and challenging the leadership and
too much time on diversity.
Yeah, and like doing activist things with your coworkers. Stop that. So it seems like they have blatantly violated UK law, which, like here in the US, prohibits companies from taking action to sort of quash unions. This kind of union busting is not only against the law, it's terrible for workers. It's unconscionable. You shouldn't work for or buy or have partnerships with people that are like anti-labor bullies. Like Us2 and Kickstarter, hopefully both of these companies still have time to clean up their act. I think that they're like Us2 has been given a couple days to sort of fix this situation. Otherwise, they're being reported to the authorities in England. But we're coming to a point where more and more of these conflicts are bursting out, and I think right now it's because these companies are clueless. They don't realize that they're going to be called out onto the carpet for doing this stuff. But if they don't change course, then I think unfortunately we might see more and more conflicts between workers in games and tech companies and management bursting out, because it's not like people can just sit down and tolerate this stuff. Yeah.
No, that's why we need to like organize and protect each other.
Yeah, and if you're interested in knowing more, Game Workers Unite is the website and Twitter handle to follow.
And then here's our last news story of the day. Facebook announces their own like Second Life, like Roblox thing.
This makes me feel so tired. Yeah, it's like Second Life but with worse graphics or I don't know. Like I guess what was PlayStation's version of this called?
PlayStation Home, I think.
Yeah, so this sort of looks like that, except it's all VR, which it's like those things, but it makes you more nauseous.
Mm-hmm.
And it's being run by Facebook, who is just the people that you want to have in charge of your virtual world in which you can do and build anything, because they're spying on you all the time and using everything you do for data, right? Like,
I can be a cartoon character.
Oh, she has no legs.
I can be a floating ghost cartoon character.
That's it. So somewhere at Facebook, someone's recording like, Judy chose to have no legs. We should think about what kind of pants to sell her. Or maybe in this world, nobody has legs. Are these all ghosts? Are they all like dead people who live in the Facebook afterlife?
Oh my God. Oh, she has a mustache.
Judy's chosen to have a mustache. So now they're going to advertise testosterone supplements for Judy.
Wait, so we'll fly airplanes?
Right. Well, yeah, this is just... It's just the typical thing. There have been so many virtual world products like this at this point, right? And they all promise the same thing: be creative, have a cool community, live out the dream vacation of your fantasies every day just by logging in. It's not even as interesting as Second Life, because in Second Life is much more anarchic, right? There are people just doing weird stuff in Second Life.
Yeah, there's like all these cool like sex continents.
Yeah, it's just like all sex clubs.
Super cool.
And corporations don't really want to be associated with that, other than Linden Labs. They don't have a choice. And so most of them are much more tame, which, look at this video. It's like the tamest thing you can imagine. Yeah, so Facebook is doing this because they have to. They have no choice. They've decided to buy Oculus a while ago, and then they probably assigned a bunch of people to be like, oh, please make us a giant VR project that we can use to justify our purchase of Oculus. And this is what resulted. It's just basically the most predictable thing that you can imagine. Yeah, I don't know. I think I would encourage people to try this out and try the beta to see if you can do amazing pranks like you could in Second Life. Like, there was a funny thing that happened where somebody bought a plot of land in Second Life and just used it to make the most ominous, oppressive, brutalist architecture they could. And all the neighbors got really mad and were like, your gigantic monolith building is terrifying me. It's casting a shadow over the entire landscape. And they were like, yes, we are brutalist architects. So, yeah, I don't know. These things are fun to break. That's the only recommendation I can make about it.
Yeah, I think you know what? I was pretty down on this, but I think you convinced me. I think I look forward to like breaking this, to like just imagine how easy it'll be to sculpt penises in this.
Yeah, okay, all right. So come to Facebook Horizons. Is that what it's called?
Facebook Horizon.
Horizon. Facebook Horizon for brutalist sex architecture with Robert Yang.
And Naomi Clark.
And yeah, I'll be there too.
Well, on that note,
all right.
That's the last of our news items.
All right, thanks everybody. I will see you next week.
Bye. Okay, so now we want to transition into... Oh wait, we should turn it off, right? Oops. Hold down the off button. So now we want to transition into a new segment that we're going to be trying, because I noticed that on Twitch, people just like play games or something. So today we're going to try an experiment where I'm just going to play a game and like complain about it in classic New Yorker fashion. So this segment is called I'm Walking Here. This is the debut of this wonderful segment. And this segment's about playing games set in New York City, and then I'm going to nitpick mercilessly and complain and try to be basically as sarcastic and annoying as possible as I play this game. Today, the game we have selected is called Alone in the Dark. It's from 2008. It's a reboot of a very classic survival horror game called Alone in the Dark. That was like for like DOS and stuff, like from that era. But this is the 2008 reboot set in New York City. So let's see what that is. Let me see if I can even get that started. Let me open my Steam and press play. And hopefully it's gonna happen now. Oh, everyone's seeing my Steam library. I'm gonna minimize that. Don't look at my Steam library. Okay, is it working? Is any of this working? Can you change the headline too? No, it's blank. Oh my god, wait, game capture's not working at all. Uh-oh. It looks like it is not working at all. We did not test this. um, and then when I go to the display menu to try to change it, the game crashes. Let's figure out something new then. Let's see. Let's think on our toes. What else can we do instead of the activity that I painstakingly planned? We could play. Why did this have to break? Oh shit. Does the chat have any suggestions for games set in New York City for me to play? Please respond in the chat. I shouldn't just play Half-Life 2. That doesn't make sense. That's not set in New York City. What games can we play? Uh-oh. Oh, Diego suggests Brooklyn Trash King. How do I search for that? Maybe change the talking head thing while I'm trying to search for this. Ooh, or Unavowed? Okay, maybe I'll download that. Okay, just some brief technical difficulties, that we, happens all the time with live television and live streams, but that's why we love watching it, so that you can see me sweat and squirm. Okay, I'm gonna download that, I guess. Ugh, okay. Wow, games from 2008 typically run on older graphics stacks. I'm getting into teacher mode right now. Games that are super old usually use different graphics APIs, which make it difficult for stuff like OBS sometimes to grab and inject their feed to grab the camera feed. So yeah, that's pretty annoying sometimes. That's pretty unfortunate. I really wanted to play Alone in the Dark. If I could set to windowed mode, if it wasn't crashing all the time. But I can't set it to windowed mode because it crashes when I try to. Okay, so in the meantime, I guess we're gonna try to play. Let's play this Twine game by Ben Esposito, Brooklyn Trash King. So let's change back to my feed while we download Unavowed. So I didn't expect to play a Twine game, honestly, for this segment, but, why not? Let's see what happens. Okay, so this is Brooklyn Trash King by Ben Esposito. I actually haven't played it before. You are alone in your one-bedroom apartment in Clinton Hill. So far, very realistic. So far, I can definitely imagine this happening to me. Your MacBook is closed. Oh, this is also very real. Actually, I don't have a MacBook, but I imagine other people do. Let's open our MacBook. Oh, sorry. We have opened our MacBook and we've opened up Kickstarter.com. Speaking of Kickstarter, Smart Jelly, a Wi-Fi enabled LED inside a mason jar. I can definitely imagine myself sitting in my Clinton Hill one bedroom opening Kickstarter. Oh, you look over the pitch video. You review the screen print rewards. Also now another update in a few minutes. Oh, it's our Kickstarter. Oh, crap. So we're refreshing the page. I mean, keep in mind this is happening before the Kickstarter boycott, okay? So we have to be a bit careful here. Uh-oh. And then for some reason my Kickstarter page has been down. Maybe the Kickstarter boycott did happen in this fictional universe. Uh-oh, your internet isn't working. You close your MacBook. Okay. Should we look out the window or check the newspaper? Let's see. If I was in Clinton Hill, if I was a millennial sitting in Clinton Hill, I would not have a newspaper. Who has newspapers anymore? So I think I would probably be looking out the window. Assuming my one bedroom gets to have daylight and isn't just overlooking like a brick wall or something. You look outside the window. Wow, there are a whole bunch of raccoons stomping all over your backyard. Some are digging through your trash. One raccoon is disconnecting cables, risking electric shock. Oh, that's sad. He doesn't care. You step away from the window. Should we check the newspaper or say enough of this shit? Yeah, I still don't really buy this newspaper business. I don't think people buy newspapers. What is a newspaper? Julia, do you know what a newspaper is? No, who does, right? That's old media. Let's all pivot to video, right? I need to send out that update or I'm fucked, you think. A tree branch crashes down in the backyard. You grab your keys and walk out of your apartment. You hail a water taxi towards Raccoon Island, which is like Coney Island. So this is a fun little joke that if you're not familiar with New York City, there is no such island called Raccoon Island. And also, Coney Island is arguably not even an actual island. Coney Island is like the southern end of Brooklyn, right? It's not really an island in itself. I wonder why it's called Coney Island then. If you have the answer, please tell us in the chat why it's called Coney Island, even though it's not really an island, or probably used to be or something. Okay, let's get on the water taxi to Raccoon Island, which is now a fictitious OC original location that actually does not exist in New York City. The water taxi makes its way towards Raccoon Island. The taxi man speaks in a trembling tone. There's a curse of Raccoon Island, he says. And now we're going to click fuck the curse. That's very New Yorker, right? To not care about curses. You arrive at the shore of Raccoon Island. It is sandy with scratchy shrub bushes. The beach is practically covered in trash. This is very realistic. These are very authentic details I'm feeling here. There's trash everywhere, including plastic six-pack rings that are uncut. Oh my God, I literally do this to every time I get six-pack rings. Like, okay, if you don't do this, make sure you get scissors and you better cut those rings. Otherwise, like dolphins and fish and shit get trapped in those six-pack rings and they like die and stuff. So you've all seen the Simpsons episode, right? Don't do that. Make sure you cut your six-pack rings. So this mortification also that these six-pack rings are uncut also strikes me as a very New York millennial kind of mode that feels very, very authentic to me. There's a wooden crate nearby and a rock wall up ahead. Check out the crate or walk up to the rocks. Oh, geez. Julia, what should we do?
Walk up to the rocks.
Okay, Julia said let's walk up to the rocks, so let's do that. You arrive at a very steep rock wall. You probably could not climb it without serious gear. Bouldering is actually getting really big lately. I notice a lot of my New York, Brooklyn friends are going to like Brooklyn Boulder, or there's like a new climbing gym in like Bushwick or something. A lot of people are really into climbing, so it's also strikes me as very authentic for this New York millennial narrator to look at a wall and wonder if they can climb it. Not authentic to me. I don't do any of that climbing. God, no. But I imagine like other people would. Yes, as Diego points out in the chat, very ahead of its time. Near to the ground, you see a small hole which is raccoon-shaped. The hole is overgrown with weeds. It seems very dirty. A black rope is coming out of the hole. It snakes across the ground and around the corner. You wouldn't want to crawl in that dirty hole. I mean, various New Yorkers will disagree about whether you should crawl into a dirty hole. I think I'm on the pro dirty hole side. So I think I'm going to click black rope. You follow the cord around the corner over a bush and scramble up a bunch of rocks. The rope leads you to a Brodart refrigerator. Brodart. That sounds familiar. Is that a real fridge brand? I don't think that's a real refrigerator brand. That sounds familiar, you think. You open up the fridge. Inside are 2 solo cups, one red and one blue. They each have messages written in Sharpie. The red cup says, "Get huge." And the blue cup says, "Get smaller." Okay, so this is a callback to Alice in Wonderland, obviously. Or is it Through the Looking Glass? I always get those mixed up. And we have to choose whether to get huge, get swole, or get smaller. Um, I wonder which one should we do? Julia, which cup should we drink from?
I don't know.
Julia, would you rather get huge or get smaller?
Get smaller, probably.
Julia says get smaller. So let's go ahead and get small. Which is actually kind of un-New York. I feel like the typical New York stereotype is like, yeah, let's get huge and take up space. You take a sip of the blue cup, which says "Get small" on it. This drink tastes like milk with some ice cubes in it. Ew, that's kind of gross, right? Milk with ice? You start to feel sad and bad about your Kickstarter. I totally forgot about the Kickstarter. Oh my god. Check the fridge again or go back to the rock wall? I think I want to check out the fridge again. Maybe there's something where I can drown my sorrows about my Kickstarter. You follow the cord around the corner, over a bush, and scramble up a bunch of rocks. The rope leads you to a Brodart refrigerator. Oh, we're back here. Let's try getting huge then. You drink a sip of the red cup, which says "Get huge" on it. The drink tastes like Pabst Blue Ribbon. Wow, that's very authentic. Secretly, I still actually drink PBR time to time. I'm what you call an elder millennial, so I'm not supposed to be doing that shit anymore. I'm supposed to be drinking, rosé. I'm supposed to be drinking Aperol spritzes, but instead sometimes I like the garbage juice, and that garbage juice of choice is, of course, Pabst Blue Ribbon. Diego in the chat mentions Tecate is also a very real alternative as well. Yeah, I would say Tecate is what you drink if you're like a cooler millennial in the know. That Pabst Blue Ribbon is so 2010, and Tecate is so 2019. Instantly, your muscles feel stronger and better. Your confidence has increased a lot. Check the fridge again or go back to the rock wall. I guess we want to go to the rock wall now. The game seems to be funneling us towards the rock wall. You arrive at a very steep rock wall. You probably could not climb it without serious gear. Near to the ground, you see a small hole which is raccoon-shaped. Oh my god, am I a raccoon? No, I'm not a raccoon. I have a Kickstarter. Well, I could be a raccoon who does have a Kickstarter, which could be very New York. Who knows? The hole is overgrown with weeds. It seems very dirty. A black rope is coming out of the hole. It snakes across the ground and around the corner. You are in such a good mood that you don't mind getting dirty. Okay, let's enter that hole. You get down on your stomach and do an army crawl into the hole. You know, another Brooklyn trend that's actually getting really big, I mean, it's kind of across the US at this point, is CrossFit, right? So again, this game just seems very ahead of its time. We're doing CrossFit, we're drinking PBR, we're bouldering. It's just very physical. You are feeling ripped as hell. On the ground are a bunch of rat skulls, trash, and muscle t-shirts. Muscle through. Finally, the tunnel opens up and there's nothing but darkness. Oh gosh, should we flick on our lighter or go into the darkness? Julia, what should we do?
I think darkness isn't a separate choice. I think it'll just give you more.
Darkness will just tell us about the darkness? Let's learn more about the darkness then. It's dark, you chirp, but chill. You can tell from the reverberation of your voice that this is a pretty big cave. Okay, let's flick on your lighter. Julia, you were right. That was a non-choice to just tell us more about the darkness. Your lighter sparks on and reveals a dank cave. There's an impressive pile of trash in the center. It smells like crap. Very, very New York. Oh my God. In the subway today, actually. Speaking of crap, oh my God. Okay, so I was waiting the Essex Delancey the F train. I was waiting for the F train to take it into work today. And I was waiting on the Brooklyn bound track, and I was looking across into the Manhattan bound track, and I literally saw a woman take a crap on the wall. Like literally, like I was just like looking at my phone and stuff, and then suddenly I heard like the sound of like running water or something. I'm like, oh, it's raining. Maybe there's like a leak in the ceiling, but I couldn't find out where that sound was coming from because it wasn't really raining that heavily yet. So then I just look across the platform and it's like, oh my God. It's like not just like, she wasn't just like pooping, she was also like, it was like bad. It was like really bad. Anyway, I was just really, really stunned because this is a terrible, awful, disgusting story that I usually associate more with like San Francisco or something, right? As terrible as New York often is, I usually associate New York with like a dry, dirty, and then San Francisco is more of like a wet, dirty. But here in my morning commute, I definitely experienced more of a wet, dirty kind of feeling. Anyway, thank you, Brooklyn Trash King, for reminding me of that beautiful, disgusting story here on NYU Game Center's official Twitch channel, Game Center Live. Okay, there's a throne at the top of the trash pile made of corrugated metal. The Raccoon King is sitting on it, and his face is smeared with peanut butter. We all know what peanut butter actually means here, right? I'm not the Raccoon King, he says. I'm his brother. Should I say something Dale Carnegie-ish? Dale Carnegie as in like the rich guy, like the old rich guy, I guess? Or should I say something very no nonsense? Well, a very like authentic New York story, I guess, would be, I guess I would say something no nonsense, right? That's what I would do. Like, oh, you're the Raccoon King? So what? Or something like that. Raccoons are fucking up my Kickstarter. There are only 3 days left and I need to push out an update. Tell your critters to reconnect my router. I guess the raccoons run the internet. I guess that's the story here. All of New York's fiber optics run through Raccoon Island, and then the big network switch is underneath all this garbage. Oh my God, in the chat, everyone's applauding the captioner. Our dear transcriber, Mirror by Night, thank you very much for transcribing my weird subway diarrhea story. It's really important to make that story as accessible as possible to everyone, so thank you for that. But to go back to this story, chill, bro, Raccoon utters. He licks some peanut butter off of his inner thigh. That's disgusting. If you want the raccoons to leave your turf, you have to talk to Raccoon King. He won't come out unless you complete a task. Okay, let's complete that task. What task? You sigh. Bro Raccoon reveals 3 rotting crimson meat steaks. Oh, crimson is a very interesting choice to describe these discarded steaks. He unwraps some twine from around his ankle. You must become naked and tie these various gross meats to your body. I'm pretty sure I've seen someone do that in New York before, I think. I feel like the New York thing to do would be to say, yes, of course I'll do it. Hand me the meats, you say, with a no-nonsense attitude. Bro Raccoon scurries down the trash pile, meats firmly in his gullet. What's a gullet? Do raccoons have gullets? Is a gullet like a mouth pouch? I don't know what a gullet is. If you know what a gullet is, tell us in the chat. You strip down to your naturals. You raise your arms up as the raccoon applies the sloppy meat to your skin. A bird wraps the twine around you, securing the meats. The webcam is on and pointed at you. Great. Now squat down and let these raccoons eat all the meats off your body. Oh, that's disgusting. Oh, and in the chat, Megaspell says a gullet is the passage by which food passes from the mouth to the stomach, the esophagus. Well, now I know. Oh, okay, so it's like your food pipe or something. I guess that's what a gullet is. God, this game is so educational. The webcam turns on and it's pointed at you. Great, now squat down and let these raccoons eat the meats off your body. Okay, I guess I'll squat down and let them eat the meats off my body. Some raccoons surface on top of the trash pile. They slink down the detritus. Damn. But who's saying damn? Am I saying damn? Are the raccoons saying damn? Or is this like a general like Jane Austen free and direct discourse kind of damn? I don't really know. The raccoons start nibbling the meats like a slow loris. I don't know. What the hell is a slow loris? Oh my god. What's a slow loris? What? What is it? Oh my god! Wait, so a loris is like a loris is like a lemur and it's slow? It's like a slothy lemur? I guess that's what it is. Oh, it's so slow. It's really creepy how it has like hands. Oh, slow loris is the name of the creature. I'm sorry. Thank you for the correction in the chat. What kind of animal is this though? It's a domestically bred Kanako and Azuki. Oh wait, no, Kanako and Azuki, those are the names of the loris. No, it's the name of the species. Slow loris is the name of the species. The name of this beautiful creature is either Kanako or Azuki. Oh my god. Should this stream just be about watching animal videos on YouTube? Maybe we could just do that. Maybe video games are overrated. I mean, video games are definitely overrated, let's be honest. Okay, that's enough of this weird animal. Let's go back to Brooklyn Trash Game. How do I go back? Okay, here we go. Okay, now we know what it is. Tongue slurp all over your pecs. Ugh. Oh god, but it's like so slow. And it looks like it's a vegetarian. It wouldn't even be eating steak, right? It was eating rice in that video. So I'm a little bit confused. The last bit of steak is snatched off your body. Let's rip off the twine. Oh, our transcriber in the chat mentions they eat insects and lizards and have venom. What? A mammal that has venom? I've never heard of that. I've heard, I mean, I know koalas can give you chlamydia. That's kind of like a mammal that has venom. I don't know. The trash pile rumbles and shakes, and various empty Campbell's cans slide down the side towards your feet. A second, larger throne emerges from the trash pile with the Raccoon King lounging on top. What up, says the Raccoon King. Tell him what's up. Your raccoons are fucking up my apartment, my Kickstarter, and my life. You're still naked, by the way. Tell them to leave Brooklyn. So this is me, this is my voice, telling the raccoons to fuck off. The king pulls out a netbook. Oh, I guess that's New York, right? No, I mean, you see like older like West Village types definitely who like have a rent controlled loft in like Greenwich Village and pay like $500 a month. That's the type that would definitely have like this weird old netbook that they've been using for a long time. Or maybe like a Chromebook, I don't know. I question the netbook. They open the lid and say, I looked at your Kickstarter. It's definitely not going to make it. Bro Raccoon nods. But I have a lot of followers. I could retweet you. Should we click on followers? Uh-oh. You check your phone real quick. Brooklyn Trash King's Twitter, 49,000 tweets, 201 following, but 11,000 followers. I mean, that's like a medium amount of followers. I think I have more followers than that, and I'm pretty like C-list, I think, in the rank of things. From a quick look at his followers, you can tell most of the followers are raccoons. Some are bots. Apparently, there's a meat splurging subculture that's very alive in New York. Yeah, I know some people who do a lot of trash dumpster diving in New York, actually. The Freegans, I think it's what they call themselves. But there are definitely a bunch of NYC arts patrons who follow this Brooklyn Trash King. Okay, let's close our iPhone and get back to the action. You grit your teeth. What do you want in return? Well, the Brooklyn Trash King says you can either kiss the butts of 3 normal raccoons or kiss mine. So, and then kiss mine. Oh, that wasn't a choice. It's an ultimatum. Oh my God. Should we say hell no or take the offer? Julia, what should we do, Julia?
I feel like for our Kickstarter, we have to take the offer.
So Julia has some beautiful reasoning. Julia says for the Kickstarter to thrive, we should definitely take the offer because that's how desperate we are. And certainly being desperate is very New York City. So let's take the offer. The 3 raccoons that slurped your meat jump up on a printer, a wooden spool, and a Foxconn box. They turn around, their butts presented to you. You get ready to kiss, but your lips are super chapped. Oh, my lips are kind of chapped. You reach into your pocket, but shit, you forgot your Burt's Bees at home. Burt's Bees is kind of New York. I would say it's probably the most common chapstick, I would say, in the city because it's like natural and shit. You don't want that synthetic chapstick stuff because a lot of the chapstick you put on your lips, it turns out you end up eating that like during meals and stuff. So if you wouldn't eat it, you shouldn't put it on your lips, I guess. Or at least that's what my sister told me. I don't know. Let's look for some lip balm in the trash. Yeah, that sounds good. You dig through the trash pile. There's a lot of useless crap in the trash pile. You're not sure where it all came from. 6 feet of rubber tubing. Yeah, I see that in New York a lot. Paper clips. Chinese takeout menu. I feel like I would have expected to see like a broken bike tube as well or something like that. Broken inner tube. Nothing interesting shows up. What? How can they say that? These are all so interesting. There's actually this guy, I think there's a Netflix documentary about this guy who collects all of the takeout menus from all the Chinese restaurants in New York City. So he's like meticulously collected like thousands upon thousands of Chinese takeout menus and like archived them in like plastic wrap and stuff. It's pretty cool. Nothing interesting shows up though. Let's keep digging. You dig through the trash pile. There is a lot of useless crap in the trash pile. You're not sure where it all came from. 6 feet of rubber tubing, paper clips, a Chinese takeout menu. Wait, I said that already. Nothing interesting shows up. Okay, let's keep digging again. We have to keep clicking, keep digging, keep digging, keep digging. Oh, you found some Tiger Balm. That stuff is spicy as hell. I don't think you should put Tiger Balm on your lips, though. That's not... Tiger Balm is like menthol. Like, you should not... Okay, sure. Let's put Tiger Balm. Oh, wait, we put it on our lips, so then when we kiss the raccoon butt, it's going to be a burning sensation? The raccoon butt, mind you, is remarkably furry and wild. Some butt hairs stick to your lips after smooching. You proceed to smooch the next 2 butts. The raccoons shiver a bit when they feel the hot air exhaled from your nose on their butt. This is like intensely intimate and like vaguely sexual, I would say. The Raccoon King closes his netbook. Now my turn. He presents his butt. Wow. This butt is neatly shaved. It seems fresher than a normal raccoon butt. It has a few chunks of peanut butter on it, but otherwise it is immaculate. Oh gosh. So I guess they're not quite clean, or some of these butts are clean, some of them aren't. Let's kiss the butt. You bring your lips to the king's hairless butt. You smooch into the cheeks. There's a slight hissing sound, then the king lets out a big yelp. The tiger bomb! He jolts away from you. You can see the burn marks from your super spicy kiss. Ow, you jerk! He dips his hand into the peanut butter jar and rubs some on his butt. Can you do that? Does that like does peanut butter neutralize tiger bomb? Wow. Yeah, this is New York City, man. No way I'm retweeting a jerk like you. Instead, I'm gonna post that naked gross meat video. Should I apologize or egg him on? I think I would egg him on. I think we're past the point of no return. Oh no, if people see that and they know about the Kickstarter, then they will never fund it, you fake concern. Oh yeah, and I'm gonna link it to your Kickstarter, he sniffs. They'll never crowdfund you now. The Raccoon King swipes furiously at the netbook trackpad. Done. Never mess with the Brooklyn Trash King. He slams his notebook shut. Kick him out of here now. A bunch of raccoons scurry over and lift you up. Before you can fight it, they toss you back out through the hole. You pick yourself up off the sand and hail a water taxi. You take it back to your apartment and open up your MacBook. The gross meat video is blowing up, you utter. You check your Kickstarter. Oh my god, did our Kickstarter get funded? I wonder what happened. Smart Jelly, a Wi-Fi enabled LED inside a mason jar. 12,000 pledged out of $9,000. Oh my god, our Kickstarter got funded. I think we won the twine. Backers, 1,000. Comments, 1. Let's click on that comment. Comments. RackMeatBro81 said, wow, you are really into that meat, huh? That's gay as hell. Gay as in awesome. I bet you let pretty much anyone splurge on that meat. It's all gross and rotty. Wow, really gross but hot. The end. That's how it ends? I think we all learned a lot about New York, I guess, and I think we all learned a lot about Brooklyn, I guess. I learned new things about Brooklyn that I didn't know before. Wow. So this segment was supposed to be about throwing shade and making fun of these games, but actually, I don't think I have much negative to say about this. I think this was the perfect depiction of New York City. I think it was extremely accurate. And yes, please come visit the NYU Game Center in beautiful New York City. Oh, geez. Too authentic. Oh God, what do we have 15 more minutes to kill before the student comes in. Maybe the student can come in early. No, she's busy. Let's do, what should we do now? Let's, what game can we have? I think Unavowed might be downloaded by now. Let me see. Let me see. Oh wow, wait. Okay, so do you wanna, wait, switch back. Is it showing up? Oh my god. Wait, why is it cut off? Oh my god. And it sings Glorious eating a rice ball. Wait, why is it cut off? Uh-oh, it's cut off from me too. How do I... You need to go into the feed and unlock the capture card thing and scale it down. So you need to zoom out and then scale it down in OBS. Is it scaling down yet? Wait, no, it's actually scaled up on my computer. This is actually my fault. Wait, how do I... Oh wait, is that better now? I think that's better. Okay, awesome. Unavowed. Let me go back. There, it's that. Okay, awesome. Let's play some Unavowed. So, Unavowed is a game by Wadget Eye Games, I believe. Unavowed is a point-and-click adventure game that I've actually played and completed before because I'm super cool like that. But you can see here that it's very clearly set in New York City. If you're not familiar with Wadjet Eye Games, they're a local New York-based developer slash publisher where they specialize in a lot of point-and-click adventure games set in New York City, and it's usually they're usually super researched, super authentic. If anything, they're gonna make me look like a fool because they're usually much more knowledgeable about the city than I ever am. So let's see what happens. So over here, it looks like the menu screen. We're in Midtown, it looks like. We're looking at the Empire State Building, I think. That looks like the Empire State Building. But none of the other skyline, I mean, this building, I forget what building that is. That looks recognizable too, but these, I don't think that's part of the skyline. I think these are faked. Let's go ahead and click New Game.
May you be snatched away from this place. You shall no more dare to deceive, persecute, and torment. As smoke is driven away.
Can we
as
hear it
wax
on the
melts
stream?
before the fire,
I'm gonna increase the volume.
So shall you be driven away, unclean spirit.
Can you hear the sound? Oh, really? But should be receiving from our capture card, though. That's weird. Maybe put a gain filter on it. Okay, well, we'll sort out the sound situation. We're figuring it out. Okay. Let's see. So this game jumps straight into the action in Midtown. Where am I? What's going on? Help.
Silence!
Where am I?
Now answer true. Are you demon, man, or woman?
Can we hear it okay? Oh, now it's too loud? Uh-oh. It's okay. Is it okay now? Okay. What the hell are you talking about? I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm a demon. Oh, is this where we get to like choose our pronouns? That's kind of cool. I mean, who wouldn't choose demon pronouns though, right? Obviously.
No, you are not.
Oh. Is he really intent on misgendering me? Okay, fine. I guess this is a binary. We have to choose to be either a man or a woman here. Okay, let's try being a woman.
Demon, your power over her mind is waning. Release her now. Release her before I am forced to destroy you. Remember, you are human. Remember.
The art's really nice.
Tell us.
Wait, what's in the background? Is that the World Trade Center in the background? I think that's One World Trade. Oh. Oh my god, my name. My name is NYU Game Center.
Did you hear that, evil spirit? She knows herself. She is yours no longer. Now your past. Tell me something about your past. Your profession. Quick.
Oh. This is like a character generator. We get to like pick our characters. I haven't played this in a while. I'm an actor.
Yes. She's beginning to remember. born to the stage, born to play roles. Now the role of yourself has been taken by another. Take it back. Fight it! Remember who you are! Remember!
Remember. Oh, where are we? So it looks like we're, So I'd say we're like somewhere like off Broadway maybe. Probably still in Midtown. I can't really tell from these buildings. But I mean, you see a lot of these basement theaters. I mean, maybe it might not be in Midtown. We don't know. Do we get any clues about where we are? Let's talk to Serena.
It's you. Rehearse what? This show? Not much point in that, is...
Ooh.
Oh yeah, you missed the whole shit show. The show's done. Kaput. Our fearless directors had a meltdown. Everyone's walked out. Only Maury is left.
A meltdown? What happened?
It all blew up. It was a sight to see. Whatever. Show's done and good riddance. If you want to go and deal with Mr. Prima Donna, go ahead.
Ooh, the writing is so snappy. It like jumps to like the situation really fast. I want to get a tattoo. Oh. Okay, let's go. Well, let's just take in this scene a little bit. So over here we have some kind of air conditioner unit with like some like garbage attached to it. That's very New York. To have like a window unit hanging out of your window like that. The graffiti feels a little awkward though. I don't know. Here I'm getting into level designer, environment art, teacher mode. The graffiti, like I just can't imagine someone like painting this kind of face or tagging this wall at like this angle. It feels a little bit awkward. I don't know. I like all the different type treatments though. Like you'll notice that this tattoo sign, there are a lot of tattoo shops in New York City. And then under the Bricks Theater, I feel like I've definitely seen like a basement theater sign that looks like this. It's kind of like this Art Deco font that you see a lot of New York places, especially old school New York places, trying to like evoke this like lost age back when New York was like classy and not as shitty. Let's go downstairs. Ooh, this is super authentic. An empty theater where your friend feels abandoned. It's kind of a cliche in New York City to like have a friend who's into improv, and then because you have a friend who's into improv, you have to like go to their show, and then you have to like sit there. I've also had friends who do off-Broadway shows, and then you're like one of 5 or one of 10 people like sitting in the whole audience. But you know, that's what it takes to make it big in the big city, I guess. Oh gosh. Let's look around at the scenery. The light setup's pretty nice. Some nice bisexual lighting going on here, blue and pink. Looks like some kind of, oh, it's Mount Olympus in the backdrop. Egg crates in the set designer's arsenal. I don't know if I'd call them egg crates. I think milk crates would maybe be more common here.
Huh? Oh, it's you. I guess you heard.
Oh, who's this guy? Oh, right, this is the guy who was upset, and Serena outside warned us that he was going to be upset. Let's say, yeah, I spoke to Serena outside.
I'm pissed too. Zach's gone off the deep end. He's not coming back. I mean, he's had his moments before, but this...
Oh gosh, Zach's not that bad. Why? Is Zach alright? You guys fighting again? Oh gosh, let's say, you guys fighting
Zach's
again.
an odd guy at the best. I blame you for this, you know. We need a writer and a director, you said. My old friend Zach does both, you said. What the hell were you thinking? You're right. This isn't your fault. Zach says the play isn't good enough. He wants to do rewrites. Rewrites! We open next week! He's added 4 major characters. He's changed over half my lines. Serena's too. And he's still not done. He says the ending needs to be more impactful.
Oh gosh. That doesn't sound like Zach.
You didn't know this guy like you thought you did. I mean, damn it, I don't know.
So
what
when
to
I
do.
played this game before, I actually chose the bartender origin story. So it's actually interesting how different this beginning is. Where if you're a bartender, it's like a whole different setup and whole different cast of characters. You should direct the play instead.
Well, thanks for the vote of confidence, but I don't think that'll help. Zach threatened to sabotage the show if we did it without him. He's not right in the head. He won't leave. He's been cooped up in the office for a week. He hasn't showered. He doesn't even come out to eat. We don't know what to do. Screw that. The deposit on this dump is in my name. If we break it, I'm the one who loses $2,000. No.
That's pretty New York. You usually do have to put a deposit down when you're performing.
Come on. You're the one who hooked us up with this guy in the first place. Thanks, I'll just be here.
I like how much he's like kind of passive aggressive and accusing me, but also fake apologizing. That's very New York. Okay, let's go into the small office here. Oh. Forgot I set my name to NYU Game Center. It's not Maury, it's me, NYU Game Center, your best friend.
Huh? Oh, it's you. Sorry, can't talk. I'm real.
I wish you would say my name. Say my name.
Bye. Just leave me alone. I need to focus.
Oh gosh. How do I chat with him?
Alone.
I can't get through to him. What do I do? Oh, I have to actually play this game now. Okay, these pages have been cut up violently with scissors. So it seems like he's very distracted. What if I turn off his computer? How do I turn off his computer? Ooh, excuse me. Trying to click. Oh, I should turn on the lights. Here's the light switch. Oh, and there's a random woman hovering. Are you aware?
I know that's Callie.
Oh.
She's the reason for this, for everything. Costume? That's no costume. That's the genuine article.
Oh, in the chat, we're joined by some of the students who are literally working behind me, behind this window. But it seems like the other chatters do not believe that some of our students are watching this, and they demand proof. Oh my god. This isn't Reddit. We don't have to do proof. We don't have to prove anything to anyone. Zach looks terrible and smells worse. His fingers bang over the keyboard like they are possessed. Oh my god, maybe he's possessed. Okay, so the lights are on. Oh, here's some scissors.
Hello. A pleasure to meet you.
Hello, I'm NYU Game Center. Who are you?
I am referred to as Calliope.
Oh, it's
I am
Calliope.
Inspiration made a conduit to the creative. With that energy, I fill and sustain. He will either master that energy or be consumed by.
You've brainwashed
I
him,
have done
Calliope.
nothing of the sort. I provide a service. Zachary had been creatively blocked for a very long time, so naturally he called.
So
upon
here's
me.
one nitpick, Wadjet Eye Games. So it looks like this office is actually kind of too big for like a basement, for like a crappy low rent basement level theater. It's actually really spacious. This is the size of like an okay 1 bedroom in New York City. So to me, this office should probably be more cramped. If we were being a little bit more strict or more accurate or authentic, we would probably, yeah, this should look more like a hole in the wall. But on the other hand, it looks a little bit too nice. And there's these nice like little lamp like sconces right here, wall sconces. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't feel quite right to me. I'm calling the police. Okay, well, let's not rush to hasty decisions. Let's not call the police just yet. Whatever you're doing, you need to stop.
I desire such a thing. Do not interfere. We are connected to the creative force. Any disruption could break it.
Uh-oh. Okay, so I have the scissors. Right? Move mouse cursor to the top of screen to access inventory. I have the scissors. I can cut the cord. I can literally be a wire cutter.
What?
Is it okay to do that though? Like, can you use metal scissors to cut like an electrical cord like that? That seems kind of dangerous. Take a shower for God's sake.
That crap? I can't stop now. You of all people should understand. When your muse has you, you just can't.
Oh gosh.
You don't know anything about me. I see it now. You and Maury and everyone else, you're all hacks. Neither of you have the guts to do what I've done.
I'm not a hack.
Trust me, you're a hack.
Oh,
Nobody's
whoa.
going to remember a thing you've done, but my work will last 1,000
This guy's
years.
really aggressive.
I mean no disrespect. I like you. You're a great actress. When these rewrites are done and this show goes to Broadway...
Julia, can you get
you'll thank me.
Yushin? She's sitting right there. You can be in the camera, it's fine. Let's see. Let's see. But I'm trying, damn it, I'm trying so hard.
Doing this.
Hey. Get her signed up, set up. Can I save the game? I don't know if I can save the game yet. I think I might just quit. I don't know. But we're nearing the next time for the next segment. We need to figure out how to transition between segments better, maybe. Do you want to switch real quick to the Talking Heads view? Or no, you can put me on here. It's fine. Okay, so maybe we'll revisit Unavowed in like a future week. I don't know. We're still trying to figure it all out. But in the meantime, I'm gonna have to quit out of Unavowed if I can figure out how. Okay, there we go. And let me get some stuff ready. So we are also, one thing we always like to do here in Game Center Live is feature a student to help students get to know each other a little bit better, but to also showcase some of the great student work happening at NYU Game Center. So here we are having a second year MFA student join us today, Yushin. Yushin, you want to take a seat? Okay, so yeah, I have the photos here. So first, Yushin, is the audio coming through okay? Can we hear?
Can everybody hear me?
Can everyone? It looks like. Is it on? Let's turn it on. Hold down. Yeah. It's okay.
Hold down. Okay.
There we go. Again, we got these super cool mics. So now we're like a real like news thing or something.
It's like a broadcast.
And you can just have that in your lap or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so you should tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your background and what's your interest in games?
Sure. I came into Game Center 2 years ago. That's roughly the time I started seriously making games. Before that, I was a technology journalist in China for a couple of years, and then I moved to New York, freelancing for a little bit, and also going to school. Then I make it a sudden turn because of going to a few game jams with friends. Suddenly, I discovered that, even though without any programming background, I can probably do this by just helping out with audio at the beginning and also making trailers. And I came to Game Center and started to learn programming. Now I can already program my own little game on my own, so I'm pretty proud of it. On the side, I'm also helping at a DIY space, nonprofit DIY space in New York called Baby Castles. We recently had a big show about Chinese indie games, actually indie games from Taiwan, Hong Kong, and mainland China. That was a big show. I curated those games and coordinate to make it happen with a lot of help from a lot of people.
Right, let's switch to the game feed so we can look at some of these photos real quick.
Sure.
So
that's the flyer.
Yeah, so this is the event poster for that event, Year of the Pig.
Yeah,
right?
Year of the Pig.
How'd you get involved in curation at Baby Castles?
I started off at Baby Castles with just helping out cleaning out a space on the backyard. We call it garden, so I say myself is like managing the garden and then attending like weekly meetings. I think I started off going to Baby Castles event, and this is really a great space, very, very welcoming. The first playtest event I went, a few games, it's not really unpolished, but people were giving like very enthusiastic feedbacks and giving all kind of suggestions for ways to polish and bring it into like an interesting mechanic. I was like, this community is very supportive. Maybe I should go here, because I'm also like very shy and very unsure that I can make games at that time. So that's when I started going to Baby Castles, and after that volunteered for several times and became a regular volunteer, then officially getting to like a sort of like an administrative meeting to help to execute some ideas for long-term goals.
Let's look through there's a few photos of the exhibition, right?
Yeah, sure.
Do you want to like walk us through some of it?
Yeah, of course. It's like actually a few photos, so we'll go through this.
It's all in alphabetical order, by the way.
Yes, that's exactly what I intended to
awesome.
be. This is the games that we are curating. It's majorly from works from mainland China, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. Mainland China took the like 5 out of the 7 spots. And Hong Kong and Taiwan each has one of the game. We didn't intentionally look for like any specific regions. Just in general, these games are super interesting. That happens. The earliest one happens in 2001. Made in 2001. And that's the only one. The majority of it's more recent work, like after 2014, 2015. Another adventure is like a 4 small story piece. The game is focused on narrative with really great humor, and this one of the early pieces I decided this is have to go on the show. And Chinese Parents is a more like a role play simulator type of game that you play as like you're building a family tree. You're like growing up as a kid and having like parents really looking onto you to earn their face. So you have to like have this face challenges with other parents and try to make your parents look good. It's very interesting. Also, a particular kind of humor and people growing up in China could really relate it to. So a lot of my friends were playing the game while I was curating the show, so they were recommending it. I played it and I liked it, so I decided to include it in the show. This one is called mobile game dinner table.
This is my favorite piece of the whole exhibition, by the way. It's brilliant. I love this.
Okay.
But tell us about it.
Yeah, it's 5 visual novels, all from the platform called 66 RPG. This is a very unique platform, in my opinion, because how they are scouting the writers. All the writers came from the users who are uploading their content at the beginning. Then whoever get popular, they would sign a contract with the writer and help them to find artists to bring their work into like a more polished, a complete visual novel style of work. Some of them are more like RPG, more in-depth visual novel, and others are just like a very interesting story. So you have to sit around this table, and all these works are presented as in this like a restaurant kind of setting. We even have a menu. It's like a kind of like a style of a Hong Kong kind of tea restaurant. So you sit there, and each one of the game is on a plate, and you like play the game in the like a dinner table kind of setting, which
Like
is
this, right?
yeah, which is like this. Imagine like all 4 of the seats are having people, and everyone is just looking at their phone. Which is it's set up by another MFA student at NYU called Richard Lee. Yeah, it is brilliant, and I also really like the mural pieces behind it.
Yeah, the mural, first of all, the mural is just really great and eye-catching. I also just love the idea where, like, where do you do most of your gaming? Where do you play games? At the dinner table, at the family
other
dinner
people.
table, when you don't want to talk with your family, when everyone can just be on their phone, like, looking at their stuff. I just thought it was kind of, like, hilarious, the
Yeah.
idea that we would all be sitting at the dinner table, looking at our phones, not talking to each other. It's actually, like, really amazing commentary on how games enter our lives, I think.
Yeah, visual novel is a hard sell usually at like conventions and when you're trying to compete with other action games. But I'm so surprised that this dinner table setting, surprising a lot of people take a seat and sit there playing for a while. So I think it is successful.
Yeah, it also you're totally right. It fixes that like exhibition problem, right?
Yeah.
Where how do you get people to sit and engage with something? This is like one of those ways, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Sure. And the next one is a series of headlines. We basically did in-depth research in collaboration with 2 journalists in China to look for all this game regulation related news since 2014. Which is this particular date is the first time we had art games in China. The first exhibition in Baby Castles was curated by Brian Ma and hosting Ace Hotel. And we wanted to this exhibition actually is like a look back to what happened in this 5 years, and specifically a lot of news related to game content regulation came out. So we did research and put them into a more playful way. On this big button in front of you, you can like slam on it. This looks like a user term service agreement, but every time you slap on it, you automatically agree, even though your cursor is on disagree button. So it's fun, and you can look for other news stories are credited, and you can also like just look up the content offline if you're interested in reading more in depth of it. Yeah, this is
Cool.
like probably part of me from my like journalism background was like, oh, I think this would be interesting to show, and it's relative. It's made by 3 brilliant artists, Gus Bahalian, Cong Yan, and Krish. And this one is the only one of the non-digital pieces. If people are familiar with China, board game is kind of not a very common thing.
Oh, really?
Not at all.
Why do you think?
I think it's because of this is definitely regulation related. At the very beginning, when we were like define games, online games and digital games just took over all the game. Board game is not even like more like a doesn't have a substantial market in China, according to my understanding. I could be wrong, but I didn't grow up playing board games. And this is a piece made by 4 brilliant artist. It's actually based on like a origami form. You're playing this puzzle game trying to piece together a circle in the middle of the yeah, I don't think I have another photo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can look at the back of the mirror. Over here, the mirror with big
Oh,
hand.
like here?
Yeah, here. You're piecing together the circle in the middle by folding the paper in different ways. Some of them are very straightforward. Later levels, there are misguiding, like extra pieces you have to. So it can be challenging as well. But it's very, very fun, and it's very elegant and beautiful. Yeah, I think it is a very good and smart use of origami and a beautiful museum game.
Made by a bunch of NYU students,
Yes,
I
yes.
believe too.
Kevin, Jen, Vanilla, and Lawrence and Milan. Yeah, it's hard to pronounce their last name. So
We're all on first name basis here. You know, it's
okay,
fine.
cool. This piece we installed is one of the performance artists. It's called Sweet or Sour. I still ate it. She is doing like a cooking performance piece, and I also like commented on this traditional dish called sweet sour pork in China. We installed it in the show as well. It's not original planned, but she made this piece specifically for the exhibition, and I think it is like a very having different textures. I didn't want all the exhibitions to be like digital hard surface, so I think this one is like sort of bring a different kind of feeling. Also, very culturally relevant and on the topic of food that everyone can relate to.
Yeah, I loved that at the exhibition when I went there on the opening night. How it was like mixing all these different mediums and formats and stuff. I thought that was good job.
Cool. Thank you. It's a lot of people's work, not just me.
Good job, all of Baby Castles.
All of Baby Castles and everyone who volunteered for the show. This one is called Chinese Room, and the characters on the wall and the floor is based on like a most commonly used Chinese and English characters. You walk along this corridor back and forth, and there's a webcam in front of it, and you can see your face presented by ancient Chinese characters, 甲骨文. So even though the eye is using the character, literally the character eye, and the mouse use the character mouse, but it looks like a drawing of you, and it looks like a pig.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's also a pretty interesting, like interactive piece. This is outside of the 7 games. Some of the interactive pieces we also installed in the show.
Right.
This one is one of my favorite. It's come from like an Asian Chinese story about like a political sort of party, and they wanted to identify people who belongs to the same as they are. So they were trying to like in this hunting, calling a deer as a horse. And this is the reverse of that saying that was from this story. Basically, it's a game about true spending, and you have to when you're telling to say the truth, you have to lie. When you're telling to lie, you have to say the truth, and you're choosing this on a time, like a quiz game on a timer for 5 seconds, and you have to like make all this, like the negative of the negative is the
Okay.
so it's several rounds in there. Also, every prompt in the hard level, the prompt would change, like to say, should you tell the truth or should you tell the lie? So it's always changing.
So it's about like language and reflexes,
Yeah.
like going fast. Yeah, I played this in Berlin at Amaze.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
It's good.
It's showed in Amaze in 2019, this year. Cool. And this one is more on the like a bonsai art form in Asia. Not only in China but also in Japan. My dad definitely spent a lot of money on like the weird trees. So I thought this game is pretty brilliant. You're like cutting the branch to shape this tree into a weird shape, and it goes through different seasons. It tells you when is a good time to cut it. It's more like a meditative, peaceful game. You can just look at it. and take care of it for a while and come back and look at it. Yeah, because I love like every tree and garden stuff. So I think the game is commenting on or reflecting that part of like Chinese aesthetics, and also sort of like using the generative art form, which is also like an important part of video games. I think we should show it.
Nice.
This one is the early piece called Xiao Xiao. A lot of people might remember this from like stick figure fightings
Oh
on
yeah, I played
Newgrounds.
this a lot in high school. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's the time people like get into it. It's actually started off by this Chinese artist called Zhu Zhiqiang, and he started this series both of brilliant animations and also like little small games, a lot of time goofy. So the animation style is largely inspired by Hong Kong kung fu film in the 1990s, which is like the peak of Hong Kong film. And it's just really, really, really cool to watch. Like a lot of times people hang out with, be around this TV on next to the cabinet and watching all these animations. Yeah, I
It's
guess
like
people love it.
acrobatics. It's like dancing, right? You just see it all
Yeah.
happen. Yeah.
It's like a how do you say this? It's like a dancing form. There's definitely choreography in that.
Definitely.
This is one of the art, and we also have a few murals created for the show. And this is the beautiful zine we made.
Oh, nice.
There's 3 original interviews. The zine is in both Chinese and English. If you look from one side is Chinese, the other side is English. And 8 volunteers spent like 2 weeks time intensely worked on it and did 3 original interviews for the creators of the games, some Chinese artists in and outside the show. We also putting a lot of heart and efforts into this beautiful zine, and I wanted to share with everyone and hope you get one because it's only like 20 in the world.
Oh
and
my God,
once
really?
it's sold out, we probably aren't gonna make any more.
Oh my God, there's only 20 in the
Yeah.
world?
Yeah. Next time when you visit Baby Castles, pick up a zine.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Yeah, usually I don't like Year of the Pig because my older brother was born Year of Pig, and me and my brother would fight a lot.
On that year? Because 12, 24 is
just,
like...
just all the time. But now I look
I
at the
see.
pig here, and I'm like, you know what? Pigs are actually cute. I
Yeah.
like pigs, maybe.
Yeah. They have like a lot of meanings, mainly like fortunate, lucky in China and in Asian culture. So I think
So
that's...
pigs aren't like, in Chinese culture, would you say pigs are like sloppy and dirty?
Pigs are sloppy and dirty on the one side, but if you're like celebrating a festival, you bring up a pig, usually it means like fortunate and just like abundant goods and food, means that your family had a good life. Yeah. Like
Nice.
a pig head, kind of a dish.
Oh my God.
Gosh.
We won't talk about it here. But yeah, it's delicious. Let's change to one of your games. I
Sure.
think we have time to play one of your games. Would
Okay,
you rather
okay.
play the ramen one or the other one?
We can play Perfect Ramen.
Okay.
Yeah, let's play Perfect Ramen. Oh, I wanted to mention that we also have 3 events related to the show. It's a panel discussion, a film screening, and a Game of the Month club. It's like a book club for video games to talk about devotion. So check out the events on Baby Castle's website. We can, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, if you're in the New York City area, definitely check out Baby Castles. The exhibition is still going on. There's
Yeah.
performances, events, and gallery hours still.
Gallery hours on Saturday, 12 to 6, every Saturday.
Every Saturday.
Until November 8th. Okay, cool. Let's
Okay,
get into
yeah, let's play some games. So tell me about this game that you made.
We made this in Studio 1 class with Bennett, and it's a physics game.
Wait, how do I play?
It's about like a
What are my controls?
WASD.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're each grabbing like one of the chopsticks,
Yeah.
and we need to grab that
Oh
fish
my
cake.
God. Okay. Oh my god, wait, I don't know.
Let's go.
You made this game, you're good at it, but
I'm
I don't
good
know
at
how
it.
to. Oh my god. Oh wait. Oh,
Come back. Up a little.
oh wait, am I doing this wrong? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, oh wait, how do I?
This is made for a 2-player game, but cooperation definitely needs you like some time to figure out how the physics work in this game.
Oh wait. Oh wait. Yeah, I don't know how the controls are just so funny. It's like I can't.
Go left. Oh,
I am going left.
okay, cool.
Oh no! Wait, what if it rolls off the table?
We'll find out.
Oh wait.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Slowly.
Oh wait, no! Okay, okay. Okay, I'm gonna go right, and then down, and then
Yeah,
left.
you need to make smaller moves in this game, like a gradual smaller move.
Okay, I'll make smaller moves.
Okay.
Wait, which direction should I go now?
You left. You should go left. Yeah, I'm going
okay,
right.
left is like that.
Yeah,
Oh, wait.
pulling.
Okay.
Okay, let's re-anchor.
Okay, smaller moves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay.
Left, right. Okay, cool.
Okay, I'm pressing left. Now what?
Going
Go
left and up.
Oh my god.
Do you want me to take over?
No, I'm
No,
I can do this.
you can do
I can
this.
do this.
Okay.
Okay, one more.
Okay.
Oh my god, this reminds me of learning to use chopsticks with my grandma.
Nice.
Grandma,
slower.
Grandma, look at me. Brought shame upon my family. Okay. Let's try. I think we have time for one more.
Okay.
One more try.
try. Yeah. If we couldn't get in there, it's fine. You can
Okay,
play.
no. You show me how it's done.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
stop ruining the game.
No.
Show me how it's done. Let's try this while we're on the stream. Let's lift up. Oh wait, you're in the middle of it. What if we had done this though? Would this have worked? Yeah, this would have worked much better. Because now we can actually use it here. Okay, whatever. It's okay.
Cool. Yeah.
Oh, now you have to do mushroom? Oh my god, that was
It's
just
to make
the
it a bowl of ramen.
first level.
Eventually,
oh my god.
eventually you will get to the noodle, which is the hardest. I think, in my opinion. Yeah.
Nice. Good job.
Okay.
So, and then you worked on this with a partner again?
Yeah.
Right.
I worked on this. I did art for this, and Danny did the programming and sound for this.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really good sound.
Good job.
Mm.
Okay, well, I think that's all we have time for today. Thanks for joining us, by the way.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, go to the credits screen. Okay, I think we're good. Wait, we can still be heard. Okay, that's okay. So credits, real quick. I was your director and host, Robert Yang. My news co-host was Naomi Clark. The operator, the OBS operator behind the scenes has been Julia Delmato. The graphics treatment we have is by Winnie Song. And captioning has been done by Mirabai Knight as part of Steno Night Cart Services. Thank you, everyone, for all your hard work. And we will see you next week, same date and time. Goodbye.